So welcome everybody. Very, very happy that you're all here today for Bindaji's class on the Taittareeya Upanishad. As he mentioned in the last class, today and Friday are considered to be really important classes on the ending parts of the second chapter. So we're very much looking forward to that. We'll have the usual format of hand raising and chat being closed for about an hour during the class and then followed by a question and answer period. Again, the replays are here and also on YouTube at Advaita Retold, where there's also other classes. And I want to mention that there was a glitch over the weekend briefly. Just a YouTube glitch. So if any of you looked for Aparoksha Nubhuti after Bindaji had mentioned it last, that you would not have found it, but then it reappeared. This just happened. So it is there along with other classes that are not available on replay here. So just wanted to emphasize that. And, I think everything else can wait until, the end of the class. Again, thank you everyone for being here and taking the effort to really imbibe what's being shared here with all of us. And again, especially thank you to you, Bindaji.
Thank you, Atmisha. Welcome all. We are on to the 43rd session of Taittareeya Upanishad. Second chapter, 8th Anuvaka, and 9th Anuvaka is pending. So let us start the invocations. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamsharshibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loga Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashi Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Veda Vivagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. The Shanti Mantram of Taittareeya Upanishad second chapter is Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We were discussing on the experiences of Jagrat Sapna Sushupti, and there we had the final two statements. Ekatva pakshe puna samnimittaya samsarasya avidhyakalpitatvat adoshaha taimiriga drishtasya hi dvidiya chandrasya na atmalabho nashova asti. So ekatva pakshe, when we are under the Advaita aspect that there is only one and only Sa Ekaha, in the Upanishad it is said that, and because of that samsara, which is being seen as not ekatvam but as multitude or multiplicity or duality, has to be understood as avidya kalpitatvad adoshaha. There is no harm in having this multiplicity of objects or samsara because they are avidya kalpitatvad. Now this word avidya kalpitatvad and the nature of sushupti or nature of reality as what we have understood in the earlier sentences from Swabhavikatvad, that these two aspects has to be understood very clearly. To explain that, Acharya said that Taimirika drishtasya hi dvidiya chandrasya na atmalabo nasho vasti. The dual moon which is being perceived, experienced and seen by the one who has cataract, from his point of view, when he knows that it is due to his own fault, na atmalabo nasho vasti. Neither is he going to apprehend that second moon even though it is being perceived, nor is he seeing that it is not there. So that both atmalabha, nasha. Now these two words, atmalabha, nasha, can be otherwise considered to be the two statements of asti, nasti. It is there, it is not there. So for a cataract person, he cannot say that the second moon is there because he knows that in reality it is not there. Yet he is perceiving it doesn't mean that it is there. Neither he can say it is not there, nashaha vasti. Because he cannot say it is not there because he is being perceiving it. Therefore, what is being perceived cannot be denied. And what is perceived, if it is not real, he cannot say it is there. Like the snake being perceived by two people. One who knows it is not a snake and one who sees it as a snake. Or the person who sees it as a snake, the snake is real. But the person who knows that the one who is seeing the snake is not really seeing the real snake, but he is superimposing or he is perceiving the rope, which is the reality, as the snake. This aspect of Atmalabho Nasho Va Asti is what is going to be explained in today's class by Acharya. The Shankara's commentary harps upon that. It may be challenging to some of us to understand it in the first instance. So if there is a repetition and I am harping upon some aspects of it, please follow it very clearly. The statement which I will read first, then we'll start explaining it. Vidya avidyayoho tad dharmatvam iti ched na pratyakshatvat. Viveka avivekau rupadivat pratyakshau upalabhyate andhakaranastau. Nahi rupasya pratyaksha sataha drishtadharmatvam. Avidyacha swanubhavena rupyate moodoham aviviktam mama vijnanam iti. Tata vidya avivekaha anubhuyate upadishanti cha annebhya atmanam vidyam buddhaha. Tata cha अन्ये अवधारयन्ति तस्मात् नाम रूप पक्षस्य एव विद्या अविद्या नाम रूपे च न आत्मधर्मः नाम रूपयोर निर्विहिताः ते यदन्तरा तद्ब्रह्म चान्दोक्य उपनिषत् इति सूत्रन्तरात् ते च पुनः नाम रूपे सवितिर् यह अहोरात्रे इव कल्प्यते न परमार्थतो विद्यमाने. Now it's only just 5 sentences. Let us split it and understand it properly. Vidya avidya tad dharmatvam iti chet. Now the opponent or the Purva Pakshi is asking a question. Vidya avidya, that is Avidhyakalpitatvad adoshaha. Therefore atmalabho nasho va asti. That is what it is said. Due to it is a imagination or a imagination or projection due to ignorance, Avidhyakalpitam. Therefore, the second moon is neither there nor it is not deniable. Therefore, he is asking a question, Vidya Avidyayoho tad dharmatvam idhi chet. Can it not be the dharma or the nature of Vidya Avidya, that is knowledge and ignorance? Idhi chet, is it not? He is asking a question. Please understand carefully. What is the role of knowledge and what is the role of avidya or ignorance? We have to understand that dharmatvam iti chet. Dharmatvam means it is the nature of dharma or of the knowledge and the ignorance. What happens is that avidya kalpitatva, when we are not having the right knowledge, it is known as avidya or ignorance. And in the ignorance, due to the absence of the reality or the truth, we are capable of projecting anything the mind wants it to be projected. Like the snake being projected, or it is being projected as a garland or as a crack on the floor. Anything can be projected by the mind, but what is lying down on the floor is a rope. So the truth of the rope is not known. So the projection of the ignorance of the rope is the reason why we are projecting it as a snake or a garland or a crack on the wall or a stick lying down, etc. So this projection capability is of that of ignorance. Now there are a lot of technical terms like, avarana vikshepa, like the covering of the truth and then projection of the mind. I am not getting into all those technicalities of those terms here because Shankaracharya's commentary is very simple. It has not gone into complicating these issues which have been done by later acharyas. He is only saying that na pratyakshatvad. Pratyakshatvad. The word pratyaksham means directly perceivable or available for perception. We have to understand that both knowledge and ignorance are perceivable. Both are known to us in the sense that if we have ignorance, I know about geometry, but I don't know about integral calculus, or I know about arts like music, but I don't know arts like painting. So both known and unknown are known to us, and therefore it is called pratyaksha. Now, what happens in the case of pratyaksha? Pratyaksha, the pratyaksha has to have something as an object of content of the knowledge. Even for ignorance, there should be a content on which the ignorance is acting upon. Same is the case with the knowledge. When knowledge is there has to be an object to it. And then my knowing that object becomes my knowledge. And that aspect of knowing the object or the content of the knowledge is what is called the immediate perception for me. Even if it is not an object, even if it is like a feeling, emotion or thought, where it is not perceivable by the sensory organs, the moment it is in the realm of knowledge, it is directly perceived by us. All of us have that capability of that. And same is the case of ignorance, where we have so much of knowledge. I know all the Upanishads which I have studied now, but I have not yet studied Brihadaranya Upanishad. So I have both knowledge about what I have studied and what I have not studied, what I know and what I do not know. Both I have knowledge. Now, when I'm making a statement like this, there are contents for the knowledge aspect of it, where the content is not only, it need not be sensory object, it is in the mind at the intellectual level. Mind and intellect we will consider together as mind here. For this section, we will not bifurcate them into two separate. So the moment we know it is known through the mind or known in the mind. So that is why when Acharya wrote that Vidya, Avidhya, both, tad dharmatvam iti chet, so this aspect of Atmalabho Nashova Asti, what that the thing is what is being told about the second moon by the one who has got a cataract. He is now has the knowledge about the real moon. So he has the ignorance about the second moon, which is not real. So is it not Atmalabho Nashova Asti is a statement by the Acharya. So the counter question is asked, is it not knowledge and ignorance of dharmatvam, the nature of the knowledge and ignorance of the person who has got the cataract? He knows that the real moon is what is known and the second moon is a projection or kalpidam, Avidhyakalpitam, due to the ignorance created due to my faulty instrument of vision, which the second moon is being seen. Is it not that? To answer that only, Acharya saying that, no, it is not due to the dharma of knowledge and ignorance, but it is knowledge of the pratyaksham. Now, what is the pratyaksham? Viveka avivekau rupadivat pratyakshau upalabhyate andhakaranastau. Viveka aviveka. What is viveka? The content of knowledge. Aviveka is the content of ignorance. Rupadivat, like all the sensory inputs, like the rupa sparsha, rupa gandha, all of them, the sense of the sight, vision, the sight, taste, smell, touch, etc. Pratyakshau upalabhyate. It is directly perceivable. Everything like the sensory inputs from the sensory organs has both the content of knowledge and the ignorance of knowledge. Suppose if I am saying that there is a white object on the table because it is not properly lit, but I am seeing something white there, but I don't know what it is there. So I have knowledge about something, but I don't have the knowledge of the specifics of it. So I have both knowledge as a content of something existing, but at the same time I have the knowledge of ignorance of also, which is showing that something is not specifically known to me. But the moment the lighting comes, the proper light comes, I am able to identify the white object as a book. Both these aspects of knowledge and ignorance are happening in the andhakaranastau, means in the inner instrument of the mind. Both these things. So, we have to understand when we are talking about what is knowledge and what is ignorance. Now, ignorance is an avastu. Avastu means a non-existent thing. Because the ignorance of the specifics of the white object, but not knowing it as not knowing it as a book, is actually not a vastu, but my non-availability of the description of the white object. So the non-availability or non-existence of the description due to lack of light cannot be considered as a positive object, but as a avastu or a absence of a positive thing. Avidya, na vidyate, meaning that which is not existing, is the Sanskrit word for it. So what that is not existing is the specifics of the white object. But the moment the conditions are there, like the proper light, and I am able, my eyes are in good vision, and I am able to see within the distance which I am able to, all those conditions when are happening, the description of the book also is clear to me. What has happened is the absence of the details of the description of the book is now become pratyaksha or become an object for content of the object of knowledge. How did it become a content of the object of the knowledge? Because it removed the impediments which were there from me not knowing the content of the description. Now with the proper light and my eyes able to seeing the details and able to identify the white object as a book has happened due to the removal of what is happening, the case of prior occasion when the light was not proper and I am not able to properly identify the object. Both the cases of knowledge and ignorance is happening at the same location where it was the ignorance of the description was in the mind. The description of the book now well defined is also in the same mind where it was earlier remaining as unclear to me as what the object was. When we look into the knowledge aspect of Atmajnana, here is what we have to understand, that both knowledge of Atman and the ignorance of Atman both are happening at our mental level. The knowledge of Atman is not having a content of Atman in the knowledge. The knowledge itself is the content in the mind, because the Atman or Brahman or whatever name we want to call it, by the definition or any other name you want to call it, doesn't matter. That content is not a object for mind to grasp. Yado vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. Later it will come in the 9th Anuvaka. Neither words can describe it, nor mind can grasp it. Therefore, what is the Atmajnanam we are talking about? Right now we say, I don't have a knowledge of Atman. So when I say I don't have Atman Jnanam Abhava or Avidhya of Atma, then I am projecting or imagining, that is what is called Kalpitam, imagining that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, or Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vidyanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all of them, anything which we think we can imagine with us. All this is happening because we don't have the knowledge of Atman. But Atman at the same time is not a content for the mind to grasp it also. So does it mean that Atmajnana is not happening? The Upanishad itself says, Vedaha Vedam, Purusham Mahandam, Adityavarnam, Tamasa Parasat. I am knowing, Vedaha Vedam. I know that it is like thousands of suns, etc. And yes, Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma, that what is most immediate for understanding. Aparokshat means Pratyaksham. Aparoksha means Pratyaksham. That is the most immediate thing which is known to us. All those things are Upanishadic statements. But here, Acharya says that both Viveka, Aviveka is Andakarana Stav, is happening in the Andakarana. And the Upanishad itself says that Yato Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasasaha. Yet Manasa na Abhyudite, Yet Manasa na Manute, Yena Hur Mano Matam. That there also it is saying the same thing. So Atmajnana doesn't happen. What it does, Atmajnana, or the knowledge of Atma, is it is removing all sorts of misapprehensions we are having. Like I am the body, or I am the mind, I am the intellect, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, or all these things, or I am the Sakshi, or even I am the Atma. Even that word, Atma, is by word. So, Yato Vacho Nivartante, even that word cannot be used. So, how do we now understand this statement from Acharya here? It becomes a question. When it is said that both Viveka and Aviveka is Andakarana Dharma. When Andakarana, it is the nature of the mind. Knowledge is the nature of the mind. Either you have a real knowledge or you have a misapprehension. Both are mental faculty. There is no awareness, consciousness outside mind whatsoever. Even if I say Sat, Chit, Anandam, Brahma, even Sat is of verbal in nature, and it is immediately the mind concludes that as it has existence. If I say Chit or knowledge, again mind will immediately understand it as a word, and it will translate it into something as related to the faculty of the mind. Anantam also, infinite. We have no idea or no way to know an infinity. Yet, mind will think it is something like the space or something farther than space. Everything will be in the mind level. Even the word Atma or Brahman is verbal in nature. So when it says, Yato Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasa Saha, when the Upanishad says that, it is denying that reality is not possible for us to grasp with mind. So what is the difference between a Jnani and Ajnani? As Ekatva Pakshe Puna Sannimittaya Samsaratya Avidhyakalpitatvad Adoshaha. There is no calamity or no damage. Both with the Jnani and Ajnani, both of them are Brahman or Atman only. If Ekatva Paksha, when we are accepting Avidya or Advaita, when we are accepting Advaita and saying that both Jnani and Ajnani are Brahman only, then what is, and here he is saying that both knowledge and ignorance are mental faculty or the functions of the mind. Then where is the difference between the Jnani and Ajnani? We cannot know Atman or Brahman. There is no Jnani who says that, if a Jnani says that, I know Atman, I've experienced Atman, he is pulling a fast one. You cannot know Atman. You cannot know yourself. Your true self, your reality is not for a mental apprehension. It is not by the mind we can get it. Then where is the difference between the Jnani and the Ajnani? The Jnani, having understood what has been the prakriya or the methodology in which the Upanishad has taught it, he has been able to remove the impediments of avidya, of ajnana, samshaya, viparya. That I am the body is a viparya, is that I am not the body. But if I am thinking that I am the body, it is a misconception, or I am Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. If I am saying that, it is my misconception that I am operating at the different levels. So, for a Jnani, when he has understood that he is neither the body, nor the waker, nor the deep sleeper, nor the dreamer, he is not even the Sakshi. He has not known what is Atman or Brahman. No. Because it cannot be known through the mind. All he has understood is that he has no more misapprehension or no more avidya in him, which he identifies himself with the body, mind, intellect, or any of those three states of Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti. He has no confusion on those things. Whereas an Ajnani has still doubt, even after listening to the Upanishad or even after listening to the Guru, he still thinks that Atman is something to be known as an object. That I can know it, I can experience it, that tranquility, the peace of mind, or that, the serenity, all these things are imaginations of the mind. Like 1,000 lights brightening. The meditation I am getting that light from the top. It is trickling down through my tip of the head. All those things are imaginations. It is not that it is not happening. In the meditation, such things can happen. But don't confuse them to be Atman or Brahman. That's all Acharya is saying. He is not denying the experiences of meditation or the experiences of, imagination, things like that. Those are all possible because they are all manodharma of the nature of the mind or the faculty of the mind of the waker. Also, we have a tendency that the cause and effect, if I do meditation, I can achieve Brahman or I can have Atmajnana. All these cause and effect do something to achieve something. This is also again in the mental faculty of the mind. What happens is that when we are looking into these details of the Upanishadic words, we are creating ourselves our own mental imagination about Atman or Brahman. We are not getting the intended meaning of the rishis. What is meant by these statements? Vedahamedam Purusham Mahantam, Adityavarnam Tamasapparasna. All those statements appear to be that you can know Atman. Yet Sakshat Avarokshat Brahma. When that statement was made in the Brihadaranya Upanishad, it makes it very clear that the most immediate thing which we can know, Sakshat Avarokshat, the immediate, without any second intermediary requirement of anything. What is the intended meaning is not known. Your mind will immediately start projecting something. So we have to understand that what is the Antakarana Dharma or the faculty of mind and intellect, or mind and intellect put together, mind capable of hoodwinking us into spiritual experiences. There is nothing called spiritual experience. If somebody thinks any experience that this is the highest of spiritual experience, it is mental dharma. It happens in the mind. Even when we say that mind was absent, I did not know anything, but then I was experiencing something. No experience can ever happen if the mind is not there. The only place where the mind is not there, where we don't have any experience, is what the Waker calls as Sushupti. But Sushupti is not even Sushupti. It is not even the deep sleep. The deep sleep is a verbal statement made by the Waker to account for his absence of time from the waking and dream. In reality, there is no deep sleep also. There is no way we can know anything. What we call it as deep sleep is a state, or it is not a state, it is a reality of that where there is no transaction possible. Avyavaharyam. That word Upanishad uses in the Mandukya, where we are thinking that is the place where it is a bija nidra, there is the seed for the waking and dream coming. All those things are again mental dharmas only. We are imagining that the deep sleep is the root cause from where the waking and the dream is coming. And we are experiencing the waking and the dream from the vasana or the hidden tendencies which are dormant in the deep sleep, now becoming experiences of the waking and the dream. In the deep sleep, or in that state which we call it as deep sleep, I don't want to call it as a deep sleep. In that condition, we cannot deny that condition was not there. The one who is accepting or denying, he is not present there. So, to say it was there or it was not there is a statement which is being made by the Waker. Think very carefully. Anything which we call it as experience, even if it is deep sleep, it is the story of the Waker. What is beyond the waking, dream and deep sleep, yet present in all the three, not as a witness to the three, but not even call us it as a witness, because even the word witness will not function in that area. Even the Upanishad uses the word Tebhyo Vilakshana Sakshi Chinmatroham Sadashivam. Upanishads are using the words, but not literally. It is all intended meanings. That non-transactional capability of the truth, where we can never say that it didn't exist, yet we cannot describe it. Don't call it as deep sleep. Don't call it as waking. Don't call it as dream. Or the fourth one, Turiya. It is not even Turiya. That is why in the Mandukya, the Ajadavada was very, very, very apt word which Gaudapada used, because there is no sparsha, asparsha, or no birth which is happening, or no way anything can happen in that, because that is all that is there. Sa ekaha. There is nothing happening. Neither the waking, nor the dream, nor the deep sleep, nor the sakshi, nor the turiya, nor any of those. Even the words Upanishad and the Vedas are not there in that state. Yatra Veda Aveda Bhavati. Where the words, even Veda or the knowledge, even the word knowledge is not operational there. You cannot say it is a knowledge. Because all knowledge is instantly perceivable by us as without a content. It is just like that light is there, but light cannot be seen without an object. Same way, the mind is the one which is now capable of seeing the experiences of knowledge, whether it is Atmajnana or Ajnana, or the ignorance or the knowledge of Atma. Both are Antakarana Dharma. In the mind, we are imagining this, that there is a Atmajnana, there is a waker, there is a Jnani who is advising, and there is a Shishyan who is listening, or a disciple who is listening, and he is getting his knowledge. All those things are Avidhyakalpitam in the range, in the realm of the waker. But reality has no role at all in any of the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. It remains untainted, untouched, always the same. There is neither knowledge nor ignorance there. You cannot even verbalize there, nor even mind can imagine that. That is the reality of everything. There is no everything there also. There is only one thing, that reality. So what happens is that Viveka aviveko rupadivat pratyakshapu upalabhyate antakaranastau nahi rupatsya pratyakshasya sataha drishtadharmatvat. Because of the potency to visualize, we are saying that the eyes are having apprehension of knowledge or knowing, pratyaksha. Urupasya pratyaksha. Drishtadharmatvam. Nahi drishtadharmatvam. Avidhyacha swa anubhavena rupyate. Ignorance, avidya, swa anubhavena. By our own knowledge, we are rupyate. We are imagining as mudoham. I am ignorant. Aviviktam. I am not clear. Mama vijnanam iti. I am not clear about my knowledge. This is a fact known to in the mind. Same is the case Vidya also, not only Avidya. When the Upanishad is talking about the prakriyas, that all what it is doing is removing this mudatvam or the ignorance and aviviktam mama vijnanam, that clarity which we are not able to understand. If we are able to get the intended meaning, the unclear imaginations, what we were thinking through our mind, that is getting destroyed. So we are removing the ajnana, that I am the body. I am also stopping the projection that I am the body, and I am also stopping my viparya, that I am the mind and the intellect, etc. as viparya. When I am neither the body, the mind and intellect, the jnani doesn't come face to face with Atma or know Atma as the content of his knowledge. All he knows is that what I am not. When you are 100% sure what you are not, you don't have to be told what you are. Because what you are is not a content of the mind. So mentally you cannot even assume that I know I am a jnani. You cannot have an experience of a jnani. There is no experience of a jnani. All he has is that he knows how to identify when he is being fooled by the mind that I am this or I am that. That fooling done by the mind cannot take place in the mind of a jnani. This is what he is teaching the student. Tada vidya vivekaha anubhuyate. When this is known, the jnani, vidya viveka, the content of the knowledge, anubhuyate, the content of the knowledge which is happening in the mental level, that he is apprehending, which is there with him as a conviction, because of which he is no more deluded to consider himself as the body, mind, intellect or anything else. This is the difference between the jnani and the ajnani. It is not that jnani knows the content as Atma. No way. Atma is never a content for knowledge. Therefore, he upadishanti cha anyeba atmanaha vidyam buddha. Those who have understood this reality, that it is the nature of everything as everything, that is the sarvatma bhava, everything what we have been discussing. Now you have to consider it with a renewed knowledge. What is the renewed knowledge? Anything which is coming in your mind to describe it is in the realm of the waker's mind. And the content of knowledge of a jnani, he doesn't not apprehend or know Atman or Brahman as the viveka, vidya viveka. That means content of the knowledge. The knowledge has a content. Yes. What? All that what will cause you an ignorance is the content of the knowledge. Because suprakashatvat, the nature of Atma or Brahman cannot be brought under the realm of knowledge. It is like the word which is saying that here in the later part of it is like we are calling day and night due to sun. The cause of day and night is attributed onto the sun. In sun, there is no day and night. Please understand that. But the moment we have it on the earth, we have the sun causing the day and night. And we say that when the sunlight is there, it is daytime. When the sunlight is not there, it is darkness. So the sunlight is the cause for the day and night. Same way, people are saying that Atman or Brahman is the reason why we are having the waking and the dream as experiences. In Atman, there is no waking, no dream, no deep sleep, nothing is there. Not even Turiya, not even Sakshi. No word can ever touch that area. Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. Tadacha anye avadharayanti. When this is being explained by a jnani, one who has understood it, if the ajnana samsya viparya, the ignorance, doubt and the projection of the mind into imaginatory things, that is called viparya. If these three aspects are eradicated from the mind of the listener, he also understands Atma. He knows Atma as something which cannot be known, but he gets a confirmation or affirmation that I should not be deluded by my ignorance and thinking that I am anything other than Atma. That denial of anything other than Atma as my reality, if it is confirmed on your side, you won't know Atma, but you are Atman, because Atma cannot be known. How can the knower be the known? Vijnadaram are kena vijaniyat. When we go to the Avidhyakalpitam Upanishad, we'll study it in much detail. There is long discussion on that. So what does Shankara here say? Tasmat nama rupa pakshasya eva vidya avidye nama rupe cha na atma dharma. Tasmat, therefore, nama rupa pakshasya eva vidya avidye nama rupe. The name and forms are of that of vidya, of the knowledge and the ignorance. Na atma dharma. It is not the nature of Atma. Even though we say Satyat Jnanam Anandam Brahma or Satchit Anandam Brahma, they are all words. They are not showing what is Atma. Through them, the Tadastha Lakshana, which we had started in the first lecture where we discussed, they are indicating beyond where the applicability of all the three is there, yet not graspable by the mind, not understood by the mind, yet not the content of the mind. What is it then? Avyavaharyam. It cannot be brought under any transactional aspects of existential wakers, words or mind. In the Chandogya Upanishad, it says that Nama Rupayoho Nirvihita Te Yad Andara Tad Brahma. Nama Rupa Nirvihita. Beyond the names and forms, Te Yad Andara. It is innermost. Even the word innermost has no meaning because there is only one. So the word used by the Upanishad has limitation. That is what we have to understand, that all the Upanishadic statements are only indicative. That is why the intended meaning and the literal meaning has to be differentiated and understood properly. If we do not do that, we will be always creating imaginary things. Any experience whatsoever, let it be the most spiritual experience or an out of the world experience or any nature of thing which is being experienced by any waker or a dreamer or that designated deep sleeper by the waker. Please understand, not that state which is where we are not knowing anything. There is no vyavahara. That the waker calls it a deep sleep, but it is not even deep sleep. That is not an experience. Even if we say I knew nothing, is a statement of the waker remembering the absence of any experience. Please understand that. So when we are saying this, any experience, if we are saying it as Atma Jnana or Atma Anubhuti, Atma Parokshanubhuti or Aparokshanubhuti or whatever word, Anubhava, any term which we use for describing Atma or Brahman is a content of knowledge. And that what is beyond the content of knowledge, where even the knowledge doesn't operate. Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. Neither the names and forms nor the imaginary mental imagination or logic or anything, even asti nasti, nothing of that sort can be brought into that realm which is Ekatva Paksha. All this which we are doing, studying, everything is from the waker's point of view. Because even the waking is an Avidhyakalpitatvad, is a projection due to ignorance. A projection of the mind. When the mind is no mind, Amani Bhava, where the individuality is not there. I am the deep sleeper. No, you are not even there to say that I am the deep sleeper. That state, it is not a state. It is the only reality. It is beyond words, beyond the mental realm. Please understand that this cannot be brought under the realm of any explanation. At the same time, the Jnani and Ajnani exist in waking. Why? Because we experience Ajnana, we experience ignorance, we experience projections, we experience all sorts of imaginations, and we have no idea how we can get rid of them. So the Jnani is the one who has gotten rid of them, and he has the method or the knowledge which he imparts to the disciple, how he can also remove his impediments of Ajnana Samshaya Viparya. When the Ajnana Samshaya Viparya is removed, he will also come to that state of Jnana as a contentless awareness or knowledge, but at the same time, it is still an operational thing in the mind. But that knowledge or the contentless knowledge of the jnani will not fall again due to the delusions of ignorance, doubt, and misapprehension. Because he has seen what is beyond the three, where it is still in the mental realm only. But he knows that when he is not under the clutch of the ignorance or avidya, what he has understood is not what he was suffering through when he was having the ignorance. So, the bandha or the mukti or the bondage and the liberation, the spiritual emancipation, etc., what we are talking, is only from the point of view of the ignorance point of view. Whether you like it or not like it, we are all the truth. We are always the truth, but we cannot know it as truth because you are that. And when the Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi is being all said, all the statements are only to remove this ignorance from us. And once the ignorance are removed, you become nischinta, without any worry. And that state is the state of fearlessness because there is no second oneness. And there is no projection of ignorance happening. Only when the projection takes place, there is a second one. The projection, when it stops, there is no second one. That is where the jnani is abiding with. Yet, his waking is a reality for him. He knows that these are all the things which are happening in the mind. The knowledge of Upanishad, the knowledge of teaching, the knowledge of removal of the ignorance, etc. are required. All of them are known to the jnani as part of his waking experience. And therefore, the liberation and the bondage is a waker's experience. Whether you have the bondage or liberation, whether you are attempting to liberate yourself or not liberate yourself, you are the truth. You are the Satyam. You are that. You don't have to worry about it. But what happens is that the peace and the harmony and that freedom of fearlessness which a jnani experiences, we need to experience that in the waking. That is what is called the emancipation or spiritual experience, what the Upanishad is experiencing us, teaching us. You don't have to do anything other than that. But as long as you don't have that knowledge with us, we will be pulled back into the mundane world, samsaras, sannimissasya samsarasya, avidhya dharmatvad. That is the way when we are not knowing that the second moon is not a reality. It is a reality because we are driven by the ajnana. So we start seeing the second moon. We start seeing the duality. And the moment we see the duality, we are into the fear and we lose the freedom of the fearlessness. I'll stop here, continue on the Friday class. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyawada.
Thank you, Binduji. Very, very beautiful to listen to that. Hand raising and chat are open, and if anyone has anything they'd like to discuss about today's class with Binduji, I would recommend, at least for now, to try to stay close to that, because this is such a critical point along understanding that this really isn't an achievement, and really hearing what was said today. I felt, Binduji, that the part about contents of knowledge and what is and isn't a content of knowledge was really important. I don't think I can say much at all, just taking it in, but if people have things they would like to discuss on this, please raise your hand. And while we wait to see if there are questions or clarifications that you'd like Binduji to expand on, did you want to, anyone on the panel, if you wish to speak, go ahead.
Pranam Binduji. Pranam.
Pranam Prakash. Hari. You're back in Canada?
Yes, I'm back in Canada. Yes.
Okay.
No words to express the profound realization you and the what we call as the Nischalam. So I just want to ask you, for the benefit of the audience, here in terms of practice, is there something you will do, or is it just a deep realization? Because you practiced this so many years, I just want to ask you.
See, the practice is not to achieve anything. The practice is to remove the Ajnana Samshaya Viparya. That is what is required. Because this Atma is Swaprakasha. By nature, it is there every moment, every second, every time. That it is. Now, there are a lot more things to be said, which I'll be telling in the Friday. But where the past, present, and future is also not there. So even the transaction of what we are doing, what we should do, all those things becomes so crystal clear that they are all creations of the ignorance. And in that, once you are out of that ignorance, you don't have to have the knowledge also. You become quiet. You don't utter a word after that on Brahman or Atman. But all you will utter or talk, it will be only from the point of view of the one who is in the clutches of ignorance. How to help him to get out of it. That is all what one should do. Because this intended meaning is still with a content of knowledge. That is where the problem lies. However much the intended knowledge is being narrated, exposed, expounded, and clarified, the tendency of the mind to project imaginatory things onto that is so high that we are becoming really impotent in that sense to get out of the clutches of the ignorance. So the active participation in the dialogue, logic, thinking is all for removing the capability of the mind to do the imaginary projections of Atmajnana. And there, like a light doesn't need another light to divulge itself, the reality of one's own nature, even while living, happens. It is not a knowledge, content of knowledge, but it is a being. Can't even call it a being, because even that word will start becoming a projection to the mind, become the mind. So it has to be really understood that you are that reality, but no words can explain what you are, nor any mental projection can imagine what you will be or what you can be. Because right now you are that, you are experiencing that, you are not experiencing that, you are being that, or you are in that, or you are that. Whatever words I use, the mind will start projecting something. That should not happen.
Yes, thank you, Binduji. One follow-up question is what you're describing in such a profound manner, is that what is signified by Jivan Mukti? Can you, or is it coming up in the following class? If that is the case, then we'll avoid the question.
Yeah, I'll be explaining that in the Friday's class.
Okay. Then I'll pass the mic on to Srinivasji.
Thank you, Prakashji. Namaste, Bindoji. Thank you for the beautiful session. It was very good. I think we have been building up to this session for the last so many classes, I feel. So today there is that explosion kind of thing. So I have one small question that at the beginning you said we have the capability to perceive both the truth and false, right? Like we like as in I forgot the words exactly used, something. So Viveka is the ability to perceive truth, and Aviveka is the ability to perceive, or is the reason for perceiving false. So in that case, this whole session kind of summarizes into the neti kind of prakriya, right? So it's all the teaching is to cultivate that viveka and recognize the truth element and the false element. So is this similar to Vairagya, or is it any different? Because I have been reading something else also. So that's what I wanted to ask Bindoji.
It is not like Vairagya. Vairagya is a beginning stage. Now we are in the pinnacle of understanding Advaita. The pinnacle of understanding Advaita is where even the knowledge is a content of the mind. When it comes to that, and Atma or Brahman is not a content of the mind. When we know these two differences, the knowledge, what is that? What is the purpose of knowledge? The knowledge without a content of Atma, not Brahman, how can it be different from anything? That is only that is saying is that it is used for removing the Ajnana Samshaya Viparya, these three things. Those doubt, ignorance and the wrong projections by the mind, if it stops, nothing more to be done. That is what is the content of the summary of the today's part of it. You should also understand that your true nature, or the true nature of, there is only one nature, one truth, that is never a content for anybody or anything. Because that is what everybody or anything is all. The names and different forms of Nama Rupa, that is where the Ajnana Samshaya Viparya is creating the Nama Rupa, and therefore the contents of the knowledge. So that is differentiated between the, what you call, contentless being. I use the words, I'm correcting myself, don't use any words. Because I'm giving an handle for you all to project something with imagination. Contentless imagination or contentless being. These things, still mind has a potency to immediately, bring some aspect of it. That's why I said there is not even the term deep sleep is applicable. Because deep sleep is part of the waker. Waker says, I had a dream, deep sleep and waking. But it is not that. It is beyond that.
So then I think you also touched upon the contentless aspect, right, during the lecture. So uh, yeah, again you gave that shloka Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam, that one. So the thing I wanted to ask is, the Swarupa Jnana, like whatever Satyam Jnanam Anantam or whatever, contentless or whatever words are used. Along with that, is there this viveka, right, of identifying the asat? Are they both playing together, or how do they work together? I don't know if my question.
It is only the viveka which is removing the aviveka. That is the only role of the viveka or the jnana. Jnana removes all the ajnana. And that jnana doesn't give the jnana of Atman. It is just like removing the dirt. You see the bottom of the, removing the water, you will see the bottom of the pond. The bottom of the pond is not, achieved by the removal of the water. The removal of the water is only to remove the water. That's all. The pond is the floor of the pond is already there. It is always there.
Yeah. So that is the pratiloma, like we are removing the dirt. But the bodha aspect is also there, right? Isn't it? Without bodha, it is not complete, right? Like without tattvamasi kind of bodha, only pratiloma sadhana both should somehow work together, right?
No, pratiloma, when the bodha waves is swaprakasha. That is a swaprakasha. That's what I'm intending to say. When saying the floor of the pond is always there, whether water was there, dirt was there, or dirty water was there, whatever may be the condition of the water, the removal of the water is required for the pond, the floor of the pond to be visible. Same way, removal of our projection, ignorance, and all sorts of things are the job of the knowledge. And once that is done, the Atma or Brahman.
Okay. I get it now. Yeah. Because Tattvamasi is also doing the job of clearing the dirt only. It's not actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All the Mahavakyas or Upanishads Vakyas are only doing that removal of the dirt.
Okay. Got it, Bindaji. Yeah. So I get it.
Thank you, Srini.
Thank you, Bindaji.
Namaste, Rajendra.
Namaste to everybody. I liked how you struggle to come to the space of being, and then you said it's not that. It's really nice. Maybe it's interbeing, but there's the other concept. I think it comes pretty close, and I would like your perspective. Also, that of Prakash is sunyata. So, would it be that?
It is not shunyata, definitely. Shunyata is again a imagination of the mind. The absence of everything is based on everything is positive. Therefore, the removal of the positive things will result in a shunyata. But here we are not saying that the positivity of anything. There is nothing called positive other than that. So there is no removal of anything. All the removal is only the ignorance. There is nothing to be removed. Only that is there. That is not being known as, not as an object, but that is the fundamental reality. So what we do through consciousness, the consciousness is again what you call effect of the mental faculty or the brain or intellectual faculty. And there is you cannot say there is consciousness in deep sleep, because you say, I knew nothing. The I knew nothing is a statement of the waker's mind, that he did not have any experience. But whether there was an experience or not experience in the deep sleep can never be ascertained or justified or confirmed by anyone, because there is no way of transaction possible in the deep sleep. The only way that we can deny the deep sleep is that I didn't have deep sleep. But that is not possible for anybody to say, I didn't have a deep sleep. You had that experience of nothingness, but that is not shunyata, because shunyata is again a what you call utopian idea of the waker mind. That absence of the everything in the waking is shunyata. But that is not the shunyata of the deep sleep. The deep sleep is an entity positive, yet not graspable by mind. Therefore, undeniable, yet not experiential. So, the words will fail to explain that. That is what is happening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Prakash, would you share your perspective on this, please?
Yeah. Yes, Rajendra. There's in the context of how Binduji is approaching this, I think the concept of any concept of the mind is completely eliminated. So the terms shunya, all that will not apply here. It'll only distort this very accurate and profound method of holding a realized state, which is lacking avidya, right? Which is what Binduji is pointing to. So when that is realized deeply through practice, the practice is not leading to realization. The realization is a result of removing avidya. So here, I think that concept will not, So that works in a very different pedagogy of how Buddha taught about and how people arrived at shunya and all that. Right? I hope that clarifies.
Yeah, it does. I'm just trying to find, being lazy me, the least amount of words, because otherwise it goes everywhere, the conversation. But thank you to both.
You're welcome. But even without,
Yeah.
go ahead, Artemis.
Go ahead, please.
No,
Go ahead. It's fine.
I just wanted to finish that thread of thought. Is that when an acharya is guiding in terms of this, if you look at this as a method of learning, it's not learning per se, because learning is associated with mental states. But what Binduji has done is to facilitate that, as bridge that gap so deeply that, you just have to just follow it to the T. You can't interfere with that process. By not interfering with the process, the avidya is you can see the avidya in play, right? So this is something that, as students of this path of Advaita especially, because it is so profoundly accurate in terms of its language, it's better not to bring any other language into it for me. I mean, that makes it crystal clear. And how much can you hold it as you move through life is the question I always ask Binduji. But yes, thank you. Over to you, Artemisia.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody. No one else had raised their hand, so I went ahead and turned that off so that there would definitely be time at the very end if Prasad or Prakash want to say more, and so that Binduji can really close us out for the next class. I'll finish up right now and just say that, well, actually, Prakash or Prasad, if you want to speak, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll finish.
No, I mean, it was a great class. I think one pointer that should be understood properly when understanding Advaita Vedanta is that the discussion part, particularly asking if there is anything called a jnani or an ajnani, and there's such thing, right? There's no entity that's called a jnani, and there's no entity that's called an ajnani. I think this is a very important part in understanding Advaita Vedanta, that the ignorance or knowledge, when you say knowledge, you mean the eradication of ignorance, happens in the mind and the mind alone. Right? So one foundational strength of Advaita Vedanta, when it says that you are already that, it goes to say that the real nature is not altered by the bringing in of knowledge. The bringing in of knowledge only gives the person who understands within. It doesn't bring any alteration in the Atman, or doesn't bring any modification in the nature of the Atman. So this is a very important part of this discussion. And I feel for all future purposes, this point of Sri Shankaracharya will be helpful whenever we try to understand the nature of the self in further discussions as well. I think that should have been bookmarked, that particular discussion that Binduji took up. I just wanted to bring that up. Yeah.
Thank you, Prasad. Binduji, we'll let you close out, but just to remind people that we're going to continue on this class on Friday at the same time, 8:30 p.m. IST, which is the same right now as 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll have a class for an hour and then about a half hour of Q&A. So we'll be continuing, and so please, if you find things that you find you need clarified between now and then, you can bring those to the Q&A next week. And I don't really know what to say except that until one really begins to see the inevitable truth of the point you were making today, Binduji, there'll be a tendency to instead turns one's attention to other questions that one thinks might get one where one wants to go spiritually. But this is really very important to realize that the thing that we've taken to be ourself most of our life is never going to be able to do something to get what we think we want. It's this setting aside of certain ideas, and it was really beautiful the way you did that. So please, Binduji, go ahead and close us out. And thank you everyone for being here and making this possible. And remember, the replays are here and also on the YouTube channel called Advaita Retold, and the rooms are usually posted within a day or two after they're held here. Thank you.
Thank you, Atmisha. Thank you, Prakash, Prasad, Srini, and Rajinder for your questions and contributions. Thank you all for being there. We will continue the tempo of today's discussions on Friday also. So for those who want to get the continuity, please be there on Friday. We can have the question and answer on Friday on this. There is a question by Odysseus in the chat which is saying that deep sleep can be calculated. I don't think deep sleep is in the realm of any transaction. So no calculation works there. No thinking, none of the waking parameters operate there. Neither the time, nor the space, nor the individual, nor the ego, nor the mind. Nothing works there. So it is not possible for us to even, get into that aspect of deep sleep. So having said that, we will see the continuity on Friday. Hari Om. Namaste. Good night.